Your organization has purchased the Powdersafe Containment System for the protection of staff and business from the effects of mail believed to contain unknown substances. This threat is real and is a worldwide security issue that has caused death and injuries with a result of high costs to business and the general community. The Powdersafe system is a three-part system comprising this presentation, the isolation chamber, and the transportation case. The three elements combine to form a safe system of work for your protection. Before we continue with the presentation, let's check that everything is in place and that you have correctly assembled the transportation case, the axle, and the wheels. In the transport case, you'll find an axle rod with 2 lock nuts and 2 wheels taped together in the bag inside the isolation chamber. You will also find the isolation chamber complete with letter openers, security ties, and, of course, the DVD with this presentation that you are now watching. It's tempting to want to put your hands in the gloves, but let's save that until later. Take the 2 wheels out of the chamber and remove the tape. Now take the axle rod out and remove 1 lock nut and feed 1 wheel onto the axle rod, pushing it up against the end of the rod that has the lock nut fitted. Guide the axle rod through the holes in the base of the transportation case. This may be a reasonably tight fit, so you might need to tap the end of the rod to assist guiding the rod. A small hammer may assist in this process. Place the second wheel on the axle on the opposite side and then screw the lock nut onto the axle rod. Check the position of the rod and the wheels, and if all is okay, the lock nuts should be tightened using a spanner to ensure firm positioning. Now, place the transportation case on the floor in an upright position and extend the handle. Tilt the case to the wheel side and check the movement of the case. You should now find the case and chamber easy to move. Let's get back to the presentation. The use of the envelope as a carrier of an unknown substance remains a genuine security threat and a risk to your health. This threat was particularly highlighted in the United States during the anthrax attacks in 2001. In order to combat this threat, it is important to understand the nature of the threat. Any attack is comprised of 3 main elements: who, why, and how. The use of the envelope as a weapon is generally the act of an individual with a grievance against another individual or an organization. It is important to consider what your organization does in dealing with members of the public that might cause conflict that can lead to an individual feeling aggrieved and seeking to harm you or your organization. Substance-filled envelopes have also been used as weapons within the work environment as a result of workplace issues. History has also shown that envelopes used as weapons are predominantly business-size envelopes or smaller personal stationery-style envelopes. The original anthrax-filled envelopes in the US attacks were business-size envelopes designed to blend in with the normal mail. This attack threat is so prevalent simply because it is easy to do. The perpetrator also feels safe that they are anonymous because someone else will actually deliver the weapon right to the nominated address. It is also important to understand that not every piece of mail is suspicious. Indeed, very few envelopes present a threat to you or your organization. Some organizations have implemented extensive security measures, but the mail often bypasses many of these measures. Think about your own organization and how mail is delivered to you. The Powdersafe system is designed to complement existing security measures and to strengthen the overall protection. There are many substances that can be used in envelopes. These include weaponized biological entities, toxins, chemicals, and substitute or hoax substances. Don't be complacent about this threat. There are literally hundreds of substances that can be placed in an envelope that will have effects upon an individual. At the time you discover a suspect substance, you won't know if it's real or simply a hoax. So, containing and controlling the suspicious envelope from the point of discovery is very important. The threat substances are designed to come into contact with their intended victim in one or more of these three ways: through inhalation or breathing, through ingestion or swallowing, or via absorption, skin exposure. By placing a physical barrier between you and the unknown substance, the effects can be greatly reduced, if not removed entirely. Education plays a very important part in addressing this security issue, and knowing how to identify suspicious envelopes is the key point to minimizing any potential threat. There are three main methods of human physical detection. The first is visual. The second is tactile, or feeling. The third is listening. These three detection methods remain the most effective manner of detection. Suspicious envelopes usually have a series of indicators that make them stand out from the normal mail. Many of you may already know these indicators, as you may have previously encountered a substance-filled envelope or envelopes containing letters written by disturbed or angry individuals that carried some of these indicators. The visual indicators or hallmarks may include the following: the envelope may be incorrectly addressed or titled, excessive postage on the envelope to ensure that the item isn't returned to the sender. The envelope may be addressed to a generic title rather than to a specific individual in the company or department, such as Managing Director or Department Head. The postcode does not match sender's return address. The lack of identifying features such as name, company markings, or return to sender address. Strange or unidentifiable return to sender address. Excessive securing or overly wrapped material for what otherwise might be regarded as a simple envelope or package. Incorrect spelling of common words. Visual distractors and restrictive markings such as personal or do not X-ray. Unusual markings such as skull and crossbones or threats written on the envelope. Unusual staining on the envelope. The envelope may appear lumpy or lopsided. Substances in envelopes often congregate in the corners and can often be felt when handling or examining the envelope. Also, if the envelope is gently tilted, substances can sometimes be heard moving in the envelope. Indeed, there can be many hints or clues that may make you feel uncomfortable about a given piece of mail. Staff who regularly process the mail are normally quite proficient at identifying mail that is normal and regularly received by the organization. Often you will receive an envelope with no return to sender address, though that by itself may not be enough to make it suspicious. Envelopes that present with one or more of the hallmark indicators are the envelopes that require further investigation with the appropriate equipment. How you process your incoming mail becomes very important. Best practice is for the mail handling staff to wear disposable gloves, a face mask that is N95 or P2 rated, a long-sleeved shirt and full-length trousers in order to reduce the possible skin contact area for any unknown substances. Please check your workplace policy and procedures in relation to personal protective equipment requirements. The sooner that the mail is sorted and processed, the better for the organization. Siting the mailroom at the outer edge of the building with external access and separate air conditioning, amongst other things, is also a good practice if at all possible. In a worst-case scenario, when a biological entity is used in an envelope, it may leak from the envelope from point of creation all the way to the intended target. By checking the mail before it gets further into an organization allows for the risk to be minimized. Many organizations have X-ray facilities to scan incoming mail, and this is just one way of checking for threats. But this method is mainly limited to detecting threats with metallic components. Should an X-ray machine not be available, a handheld metal detector can be used, but should only be used for envelopes and small parcels, as the signal strength will not penetrate into bigger boxes. Having scanned the mail and found nothing of a metallic nature, and if the envelope still appears suspicious, it should then be considered as a potential powder threat. Another quick way to check the suspicious item is to contact the intended recipient and ask if they were expecting an envelope similar to the one that has been detected. If nothing was expected by the recipient, then it would be wise to treat the item with the appropriate caution. When working with the Powdersafe chamber, ensure that the chamber is at a comfortable work height and remove any jewelry from your hands and wrists. Having ruled out the presence of metal in the envelope, which may indicate the presence of an IED or letter bomb, place the suspicious item into the Powdersafe chamber and lock the latches at the front of the chamber. The latches should fall into the aligned slots. Then turn the tab on the lock clockwise and flick the tab up when turned. Again, make sure that you have removed any jewelry from your hands or wrists before inserting your hands into the gloves. Place one hand into a glove and make a fist. Hold the fist and draw the glove slowly towards yourself. You should observe the other glove rising. This simple procedure will indicate that the chamber is locked and sealed. If the glove does not rise, check that the two latches have been locked properly and that the two ports are closed, and then recheck. When you have drawn back on the glove and the other glove is standing, insert your other hand into the glove and then move your first hand back into the chamber. Using one of the letter openers in the chamber, carefully open the envelope and then inspect its contents. Sometimes the substance may not be harmful. It may simply be promotional material, as has occurred, an invitation to a beach party containing sand. However, do not assume that the substance is harmless until you have confirmed the origin of the envelope and content. If you are unsure and no information can be found to verify the nature of the substance, do not open the chamber. Carefully withdraw your hands from the gloves. Take one of the security ties and feed it through the hole in the latch tab and through the spring, looping it back on itself and pulling the tag tight to seal it. Label the isolation chamber and the transportation case so they may be returned if the substance is later found to be harmless. Place the isolation chamber into the transportation case, then close and lock the case. The isolation chamber and the transport case combine to give a primary and secondary containment capability. At the time of discovery, you will not know what the substance is. You need to contact the local emergency services to deal with the unknown substance in the isolation chamber. The act of sending a substance-filled envelope is a criminal offence, and in most countries may require investigation by law enforcement authorities. The two ports fitted to the chamber are designed to allow the emergency responders and testing technicians access to the chamber without the need to reopen the main seal. The ports should not be opened until the chamber is out of the enclosed building environment, and then only in a suitable testing environment, such as inside a biosafety cabinet at an accredited testing facility. By maintaining the envelope and substance inside the chamber, important forensic evidence and DNA material is protected for further investigation. Again, please remember to label the isolation chamber and the transportation case so that they may be returned if the substance is deemed harmless. All local authorities have different response protocols in how they deal with suspicious powder threats, and the actions they take will vary accordingly. The most important aspect is that you have contained and controlled the suspicious envelope as early as possible and minimize the risk to yourself, your colleagues, and your organization. The chamber is designed to be reused, and should the testing authorities deem the substance to be harmless, the best cleaning method is via the use of a vacuum cleaner followed by a wipeout with a dry cloth. In order to maintain the integrity of the Powdersafe system, an annual service is required to ensure that the system remains airtight. Your organization would have been made aware of this at the time the unit was purchased. When not in use, store the isolation chamber in the unlocked position to avoid over-compression of the seals. We hope you never need to use the Powdersafe containment system. However, History has proven that all organizations may face this security threat, which, by its nature, is simple to create, simple to send, but often has very disruptive effects. To learn more about combating mail-borne threats, Powdersafe also provides comprehensive face-to-face training courses, as well as computer-based online training courses. Details can be found at www.isitsafetoopen.com.au, where you can view a sample of the training package. Alternatively, you can contact us at info@powdersafe.com.au. Just remember, not every envelope is a threat, but it will only take one white powder incident to spoil your day.